This week, we are taking a ride on the Tregurtha. We're learning the ins and outs of moving cargo through the Great Lakes. The Lee is a vessel with a history like no other. Built in 1942 for the ocean, she was used during World War II and actually in Tokyo Bay during the surrendering of Japan. She proudly displays the medals she earned during war and is one of the most altered vessels on the Great Lakes.
You tell someone, oh yeah, I'm the captain on a boat that was built in 1942. They're like, wait, that thing's still moving? Well, absolutely. We're freshwater. Interlake Steamship, as a company, invests millions of dollars in these boats all winter. You know, from steel renewal, from cargo holds to decking. Over time, a lot of work is done.
The Tregurtha has changed ownership a number of times, but is currently owned by the Interlake Steamship Company. One of the largest investments by Interlake was removing the steam plant on board and replacing it with 2 diesel engines and a scrubber system. Now, yesterday, we watched as iron ore was loaded and we set sail for the Soo Locks. This morning, we hear from the crew, some who've been on the ship for over 80 days. They detail their schedule, their ship, and life as they know it. Every person on board the Tregurtha has a different reason behind joining the crew.
My dad sailed. He was a captain out here. I decided, well, I'll give it a try for a couple months. Sail the summer, see how it goes. So that was March of 1999.
My grandfather, I used to go on his boat when I was a kid, and there's really not a whole lot up north, so I was like, might as well go sailing. My wife told me to go sailing. That's what she said, go sailing.
Yeah, I didn't like sitting in an office. I didn't like the idea of doing that for the next 30 years, so I kind of threw a dart at a wall and picked something out of the blue.
Regardless of why they decided to sail or what position they hold, they're all a vital part of the system that moves cargo through the Great Lakes.
That's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work, but it's a good job. And I'm happy to do it here because I know the boat well. A ship's like a little city, so anything that a city has, you know, sewer, plumbing, electrical, all the mechanical stuff, we have all of that on board.
A city with many moving parts. But don't be fooled. This isn't a joyride. It's hard work, long days, and requires mental toughness many can't fathom.
When you first come out here, your body completely changes. You end up working so hard. You're using muscles you've never used before.
It's challenging. It's challenging for everybody out here, personally. You know, being away from family and friends, it's tough for everybody. So I'm not that much different.
Ryan Carpentier spends most of his time on the boat below deck. As the chief engineer, it's his primary duty to keep all of the ship's moving parts doing just that, moving.
We can monitor all of our temperatures and pressures and open and close valves from here. We can switch over generators from here. We can monitor the scrubber system. One of the interesting things, our steering gear is pretty much original to the ship. So while the engine room's been upgraded, the steering gear is still from early 1940s.
A multi-million-dollar project replaced the Lee steam plant with 2 4,000 horsepower Rolls-Royce Bergen engines with a controllable pitch prop and exhaust scrubber system.
When everyone sees us sailing along the lakes and you have that little beautiful little plume going, that's all steam. That's it. That's all that's coming out of my stacks now is steam, even though we're burning a heavy fuel. We're almost net zero on emissions, and we're well below any government standards.
It's something the crew is proud of. There's a lot that happens they take pride in, from the day-to-day operations to the relationships they've formed. And as each day brings them something different, they're the constants they can lean on.
The perfect day is when everything goes right. We have great weather, a nice, calm day. And I get to see the guys I work with, that we all get to work together. Just nobody gets hurt. That's a perfect day for me. That is an absolute perfect day for me.
And it's a big thing of just realizing that we may have our differences. We may all come from different backgrounds. We may not see eye to eye on a lot of issues, but at the end of the day, every guy on this boat always looks out for the next guy, because when we're here, you're family.
I feel honored to have taken this trip with this particular crew, to watch them working together, often not even needing to use words, to take those moments together, to laugh, to appreciate the day. The bond they share is definitely unique, and it's what pulls them through those tough moments. Oh, and by the way, the Lee A. Tregurtha typically travels between 12 to 13 knots when those engines are both humming and everything is running smoothly. Tomorrow, we're talking about the food. Of all the comments and questions from you at home, from viewers I received while I was gone, food was the most common. I chat with the steward of the Lee A. Tregurtha, and let me tell you, the food did not disappoint.